Mexico's Supreme Court upholds abortion rights nationwide. Mexico's Supreme Court has upheld abortion rights nationwide, striking down a federal law criminalizing abortions and allowing the federal healthcare system to provide services. The court declared that criminal penalties for abortions were unconstitutional in 2021, but the ruling only applied to the northern state of Coahuila, where that case originated. Wednesday's ruling will increase abortion access throughout Mexico, marking a major victory for abortion rights advocates in the predominantly Roman Catholic country. The ruling opens the door for federal healthcare system to start providing abortions, which could become increasingly important as Mexico moves centralizing healthcare services, abortion rights advocates say. As we become more civilized, it seems that we are just moving backwards and becoming less civilized. Somehow, killing unborn babies seems to be a right that everybody is fighting for, but nobody is fighting for the rights of the unborn baby. Maybe that should be a priority that we think about as human beings. Moving on. China wants to ban clothes that hurts nations' feelings. China has proposed a draft law that would ban clothing and speech that is detrimental to the spirit of Chinese people and could result in fines or jail time for those found guilty. The proposed law has drawn criticism from legal experts and social media users who have called for more clarity to avoid excessive enforcement. The law's vague phrasing has been criticized for being open to abuse and could lead to an infringement of personal rights. The proposed legal changes also forbid insulting, slandering, or otherwise infringing upon the names of local heroes and martyrs, as well as vandalism of their memorial statues. This draft law is an example of how Emperor Xi Jinping has sought to redefine what makes a model Chinese citizen since he rose to leadership in 2012. I'm sure he has made a lot of role model citizens who are just lying flat and hoping that they are the last generation. Let's see how the Chinese citizenry will get out of this mess. Japan joins moon race with successful rocket launch. Japan successfully launched a rocket with a lunar lander on September 7, 2023, after 3 previous attempts were foiled by bad weather. The lander, called the Moon Sniper, is expected to attempt a moon landing in February 2024. Japan has twice failed to reach the lunar surface in the past year amid setbacks for its space program. The 100 million mission is meant to demonstrate Tokyo's ability to land a lightweight, low-cost spacecraft on the moon. The rocket was also carrying the X-ray imaging and spectroscopy mission satellite, a joint project between the Japanese, American, and European space agencies. The satellite, containing a telescope the size of a bus, has parted ways with the lunar lander to orbit around Earth. It will now begin studying space phenomena such as black holes and stars. Looks like Japan is joining the race to the moon, along with India and many other countries. Let's hope some good comes out of our collaboration with many countries, but somehow it doesn't seem like this is going to spill over to other sectors, and it's only reserved for the space agency. It's as though when we think about space, we are one human species on Earth, but when we are not thinking about space, I'm me, you're you, let's fight. Weird circumstance being human on this Earth. Lab-grown human embryos offer new research hope. Scientists have developed human embryo-like structures without using sperm, an egg, or fertilization, offering hope for research on miscarriages and birth defects, but also raising fresh ethical concerns. The researchers, led by Palestinian scientist Jacob Hanna and the Weizmann Institute in Israel, harness the power of embryonic stem cells, which can become any kind of cell. They produce embryo models up to 14 days old, which is the legal limit for human embryo lab research in many countries, and the point at which organs like the brain begin to develop. The researchers say their work differs from those of other teams because it uses chemically rather than genetically modified embryonic stem cells and produce models more like real human embryos, complete with yolk sac and amniotic cavity. These similarities could make the model more useful for research into conditions like miscarriage, birth defects, and infertility. But it's not going to solve the birth rate problem, because the birth rate problem is not about sperms not fertilizing the eggs. The birth rate problem is because women are either having abortions or choosing not to have babies. So if you kill your baby while it's in the womb, or you choose not to have a baby, less humans. UK house prices fall by the most since 2009 as rate rises bite. UK house prices have fallen at the fastest pace since 2009 over the past year, reflecting the increasing impact of higher interest rates, mortgage lender Halifax said on Thursday. House prices were 4.6% lower last month than in the August 2022, when they were close to their peak. This compared with a 2.5% annual fall in July and a median 3.45% decline forecast in a Reuters poll. Prices fell 1.9% in August alone, the biggest monthly fall since November 2022, and also more than 0.3% than poll forecast. A Reuters poll of housing market analysts last week showed the expected price this year to fall 4% and to be unchanged in 2024 before rising 3.3% in 2025. In my personal opinion, the house prices is not going to rise anytime soon because there's going to be less human beings, and when there are less human beings, there's going to be less need for housing. Therefore, there will be less demand and there will be more supply. Anyone who's done Economics 101 knows less demand, more supply equals price going down. But I guess we live in a world where we might just redefine what economics is. So, moving on. Nasdaq sinks as Apple losses deepen. The Nasdaq Composite fell by 1% due to Apple's losses, which continued to fall after reports that China had banned government officials from using its iPhone for work. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average also closed in the red on Wednesday. The Federal Reserve's next move is in focus, with unemployment claims falling to their lowest level since February last week, another sign that the Fed will likely keep interest rates higher for longer. The China run-up in oil prices that cast doubt on the Fed's push to cool inflation took a step back on Thursday, after China trade figures failed to ease worries about sluggishness in the world's second biggest economy. I don't know what's going on with Apple, but it seems like Apple is starting to lose market dominance. And it's most likely because after Steve Jobs left, it seems like Apple just didn't know what their job was. And right now, most of the products they build are no longer revolutionary or of the quality that people would actually want when they pay for an Apple product. So let's see if they can turn themselves around. Coinbase Layer 2 network Base suffers first major outage since launch. Coinbase, Ethereum's Layer 2 network Base, experienced its first major outage since its launch on August 9, 2023. The outage lasted for approximately 45 minutes on September 5th, during which no new blocks were produced on the Base chain. The developers identified the stalled block production at 9:36 p.m. UTC, and block production has since resumed. Coinbase stated that the delay in block production was due to part of their internal infrastructure requiring a refresh, and they have implemented a fix. Base is continuing to monitor the chain for further issues. Matt Williamson, head of research at crypto education platform Collective Shift, warned the Ethereum Layer 2 networks are not as battle-tested as Ethereum's mainnet. Majority of the DeFi projects out there have not been battle-tested, except for very few, maybe like DAI. For everything else, it's still an open experiment that is being run in real life. And I guess some people love to live dangerously. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. Please like, share and subscribe. I'll see you again on Monday.